KCIW listeners at 100.7 Brookings, Oregon. This is forever my first ever radio show. Can you believe that? So I'm saying welcome to you, and I'm saying welcome to me, and I'm sitting across a great guest that will be joining us in just a minute. But I want to give you just a little rundown of what I'm going to be doing on my weekly radio shows. And so first off, I just want to say welcome to Joyously Free. That's the title of my show. It's with none better than me, Joanie Lindenmeyer. Yes, I'm the vibrant, joy-filled, great communicator, a title that has been given to me by Emily. This show is for a wide range of listeners and encompasses joy in every topic of LGBTQ+, church, religion, faith, and spirituality. In the queer world, this show is probably called Gadio, not radio. Hey, thanks, Viv and Will, for naming it that way. Okay, listeners, here we go. The purpose of our show is to share and spread joy and freedom, hence the title Joyously Free. It is also the title of my second book that I co-authored with Elizabeth Atkins of twosisterswriting.com. Yes, I'm an author. Can you believe that? 2 years running now. I'm also a best-selling author of one called None Better. In the last 2 books, I've had 32 contributing writers record their stories about being true to themselves and living their version of their truth. This weekly Joyously Free radio show will feature my excited belief that Jesus, God, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with you and with me. So be not troubled or afraid or saddened. Joy and peace are an internal expression of love and harmony that is already within us, and we only have to reach deep within and let it out. Out. Get it? LGBTQ. Out. So all is well with my soul, and I'm hoping that it will be with you. Pretty simple. You know, there's going to be no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. It will be blasted with the 3 C's, what I call courage, confidence, and collaboration. Again, the purpose of the show is to share and spread joy and freedom, hence the title, Joyously Free. So, do you think this will be the greatest talk show ever? I do. That's why I'm here, and I'm hoping that we can start off with a prayer and then a few golden nuggets from Joanie, and then we'll introduce our guest speaker. So here we go. Let's seek understanding, thinking out of the box, or no boxes as my Carol believed, and be happy knowing abundant gratefulness, respect, and appreciation with nature, friends, family, and our loving, kind community here on the Southern Oregon and Northern California coast. I've been here 34 years in this area. We can be better, not better, for we are spiritual beings as well as human beings. So here we go. Let's start. Take a breath in and out. Breathe in goodness. Breathe out doubt. Breathe in thankfulness. Breathe out despair. Breathe in joy and release any fear, doubt, or worry. The scripture I'm going to read today is from Psalm 117. It says, "Go out to all the world and tell the good news. Praise the Lord, all you nations. Glorify God, all you peoples. For steadfast is God's kindness toward us, and the fidelity of the Lord endures forever." Again, we breathe in and we breathe out. The reason I picked this psalm today is that when I left the convent at age 29, that's what I was told by Jesus, to be more worldly. And in being more worldly, that means to accept, celebrate everybody on this planet, including all of our nature wonders. It is my golden nuggets to share with you today that by being available to God, being out in the world, means being your true self. No more hiding, no more covering things up, no more of having to fit yourself into a certain role or a box or a title. And being worldly means there's no limit to abundant love, to abundant kindness. And that's who my God is. So I guess my question to you today is, are you out there and being worldly in the name of a God, a creator, a higher being, whomever you call that. So that's my golden nuggets in our prayers. We're going to move into our speaker today. And oh my gosh, is it my joy to introduce my good friend Cindy. We played pickleball yesterday, Cindy Holm, and I'll tell you, she was pretty fierce there for a while. She wanted to smash that ball down on Mary and Kennette and Karen. And so I just want you to accept and believe that Cindy has a wonderful story to tell us today. And Cindy, I thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, on my first ever show, here you are. And we're sitting across a plexiglass door, window, whatever you call this thing, in the KCIW studio. But I just want to thank you so much for being here. So our topic today is coming out. Just like our little scripture said, coming out and being worldly. So I'd like to start off by asking if you would just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Would you do that?
Oh, certainly, Joanie. And first off, thank you so much for inviting me to join you on this journey on the radio. And yes, thank you for letting me be here today. A little bit about myself. I've a recently retired safety manager, and I've been married to my lovely wife for about 7 years. We've been together for 20.
Wow.
Couldn't be married before too much then, so that's why I was that long together and a little bit married. I also have 2 amazing adult children, a daughter and a son. And I met their father actually while I was serving in the United States Air Force in the mid-'80s to early 90s.
Oh, wow.
And it was an interesting time then. I'll get into it a little bit later, but...
So you joined the military and I joined the convent. Oh my gosh, we were a pair.
Exactly. And I don't know about you, Joanie, but that sentiment exactly. I was trying to probably get away from who I thought I was. I kept trying to do the right things. I mean, I went to school. I joined a religious youth group. I joined the military. I kept, trying to do things that I felt would make me not who I really thought I was. Does that make
You were figuring all that out.
I was figuring it all out.
I can relate. I can so relate.
And trying to check all the boxes, like, get married, have kids, have a career, those types of things. So it was kind of tough. But the time in the service was great. I got to see the world. I was out in the world, but I wasn't out to myself. And, there was that journey getting there. So, but.
Yes. And that's number 1 in my Joyously free book. Chapter 1 is coming out to yourself, and to be able to not just admit and accept that, but to celebrate that. I was giving a book event just the other day, and I was talking to a group, an organization, and there was queer people in there, and there were straight people in there, and I said, "Hey, do straight people ever have to wake up and wonder about who they're going to come out to today or what the world's going to be like for them?" But for us that are queer, it's a big thing. So keep going. Tell me more about you.
No, it's a huge thing. I mean, I remember even as a young child, my family, and then they weren't even super religious or anything like that, but there was a extreme, I'd say, hatred towards queer people. And you get that in your system as a young child. So you're thinking, well, that's not something I can be. But then inside of you, you still feel like something's not right. You're not fitting in the boxes. I have a funny story of being when I was in kindergarten, and I was actually playing in the sandbox and wanted to play with the blocks and things. And somebody invited me to play house. And I don't know why this is such a strong memory, but I said, I don't want to play house because I know I'm going to have to do that when I grow up. And that's at age 5, 5 or 6 in school. So, but again, I kept thinking, I can't be this way. Religion's telling you can't be this way. Your family, community, everything is saying that's not right. So I kept trying to do things to change who I was, I guess.
So you could fit in.
So I could fit in.
So you could fit in.
And that happened and continued until I was in 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But when did you join the military?
I was in my 20s. I turned 21 in basic training, 22 in basic training.
So how was that? Because you were not out then. Correct?
Correct. I was not out, knew I couldn't be out. This is before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. People, since World War II, over 115,000 people have been discharged from the military for being homosexual.
Right.
From World War II till 2011.
Right. And I can't stand that word homosexual, and it just really bothers me. And I know back in the old days, even the word queer was a derogatory name, and nowadays queer is a great name, especially for the Generation Z people,
Right.
that's where they're coming from. I think we've sort of moved along. It was gay, it was lesbian, and then it became LGBTQ, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and then plus means a lot more, and we'll get into that later. But so anyway, so back you were 20-year-olds in the military.
Right.
And did you pick the Air Force, or why did you choose the Air Force?
I actually selected the Air Force, kind of doing some research with regards to probably the best service for women. I also wanted the opportunity to travel to different places, not be stuck on a ship, and the Air Force offered more opportunities, also opportunities for education. I mean, honestly, being young, trying to get out of a small town, see the world, get 3 square meals a day, and get an education, the Air Force was my way to go.
Got it.
And so that's why I joined up. And I was lucky and grateful to have served overseas my entire time in service and be able to finish my education with my bachelor's degree while I was in service and using the GI Bill to get my master's degree when I completed service. So it was thank you.
Good. And I guess I would call that joyously free. At that point, you were able to achieve and have such great successes there. That's joyously free.
Absolutely. And I felt that way. And I mean, even at the time, like I said, I met my future husband while serving, and we had opportunity to be joyously free and travel and see things, and we kind of were filling our boxes for our future, and realized that we wanted to possibly be together and start a family. So that's when we both separated service a little bit later.
Okay.
And started our family a little bit later in our lives.
Did he serve longer than you then, or did you both serve about the same amount of time?
Approximately. Well, he served almost 8.5 years. I ended up serving about 4.5 years and ended up getting out during an early out program that they had in the early 90s. But he'd served a little longer, but he had thought he wanted to make it a career, but then we chose to both get discharged and raise a family.
Right. So when you were in the service, since this is coming out is the name of our topic, did you know other people that were LGBTQ plus at that time, or was it just a hush hush? How was that?
It was a hush hush, but I mean, since I guess I was sort of more in tune maybe to that community, you became aware of who was or was not. Interesting things that were happening during that time, and I might have told you the story in the past, Joanie, but what I found, and if you ever look up the history of people being discharged for being queer from the military, was actually, it was a way, sometimes people were court-martialed, but sometimes they had what they called other than honorable discharges.
Oh.
And people would choose not to go through the discharge court-martial thing and just get out if they were accused of being gay. But the thing is that disproportionately, the people that were being discharged from the service were people of color and women.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, for example, when I was in service, I think the amount of women in service were maybe 8 to 10% of the service amount of people.
Right.
But it ended up being like 70% of the people that were being discharged for being queer were women.
Wow.
And I have one example of a colleague. She was actually, this is when I was stationed in Germany. We were in the dorms together. She was so excited about getting this billet in this super special training. And she was one of the best sergeants I ever knew. And she was not gay.
Uh-huh.
But she was African American.
Uh-huh.
And once she went to her first day of class and they realized that she was a female African American, suddenly the next day she was out of service.
Oh, my gosh.
They
what
did not want her
discrimination.
taking the place of a male billet in that class.
Wow. Such discrimination,
Such discrimination.
So do you think that's true today, Cindy?
There's been some changes to those regulations in the military, and I really can't speak too much to current day items. I know that Biden had reversed if people had been court-martialed and discharged from the military, which is about 35,000 from World War II till now, they're able to possibly reinstate themselves. But again, there were another, almost 100,000 more that were discharged not under court-martial. And those people still are out there without able to getting their military benefits because they were dishonorably or other than honorably discharged from the service. And it's so sad.
Yes. Yeah. We live in a community here in Brookings that has a very, very great rate of veterans that are here. Some are in better shape than others, so to speak. But I know that the veteran community here is just top-notch, Are you associated with any veterans groups?
Not per se, but thankfully, actually, recently, because of the PACT Act, which is an act that came out in 2022 with regards to any military members that worked with chemicals. Many veterans are able to get more veteran health benefits than they have been able in the past. And so actually I have a service-related injury that I've been following up for a disability claim, but this PACT Act is also giving me access to health care. And so, I mean, if anything, I want to get the word out that that's available to veterans.
What a tip. What a tip. Yeah. And that's PACT Act?
No, PACT Act.
PACT Act.
PACT, and it came in 2022 under President Biden. And it's called the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics. So for all those military members that worked with the burn pits and all those things during the different engagements that we had in the past, they're able to follow up. And for example, I was a fuel systems mechanic. I worked on C-130 and 135 aircraft. And my exposure to fuels gave me a ability to get access to different military health care.
Wow.
So currycounty.gov, put veterans in the search, and you'll come up with all the information you need to
what a great tip for everybody.
This. Yes.
Oh, what a great tip for everybody. Cool.
Thank you,
okay,
Joanie.
So can we move past the military here for a minute?
Definitely.
So tell me about, you left your husband. Tell me sort of the relationship part of how this went in figuring out and coming out to yourself, and then how you came out to others.
Certainly, Joanie. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, my husband and I call him my husband, and I'll tell you in a minute. But
okay.
He and I had been together for 14 years, and it took us 7 years into our marriage to have our children.
Oh.
And because we were both still kind of serving the military, taking different jobs, traveling for our work, and so 7 years till we had our kids. But in the process of raising my children, I was realizing how difficult it was for me to feel present with them, to feel real with them, and be in the moment with them and true to myself and true and truthful with them. And so finally, I just got the strength to come out. I mean, it was after a major panic attack that ended me up in the hospital. But
oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
At 40,
I
had a serious panic attack. And ironically, the person that was the nurse in the ER was somebody I'd been to community college with prior to joining the military.
Oh, okay.
He goes, Cindy, I don't know what got you in here, but if you don't figure out what it is, the next time I see you, it will be a heart attack.
Ooh.
Right then, it's like, I know what it is.
Okay.
I know what it is. I need to make the change.
Yeah.
And then I started to make the change. And
that was a joyously free moment.
It was a joyously free moment to make that decision and go, okay,
yes.
Come on, girl. Align with yourself.
Oh, I can so relate.
Thank
relate.
You,
and there's
Joanie.
probably listeners out there that can relate to it too. And or they're going, man, when I come out, will I be able to be joyously free?
Oh, it felt so good. I mean, it was sort of like aligning with myself, and then the universe aligned with me. And the first person, obviously, I had to tell was my husband at the time. And I said, I want to get a divorce. I'm a lesbian and I want to come out. And he said, you know what? I'm saddened, but not surprised. And it will not be an issue with the kids. Oh. And at that moment, I knew that I married the right man to divorce.
Oh, my gosh. He was there for a reason.
He was there for a reason.
And I think that's just as much as God's stuff as it is to come out,
Oh, absolutely.
God's working through this whole thing is my point of view on that.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, of course, I have to go through a divorce. I have to figure out about getting work. I've got 2 young children, everything like that. But he was amazing. I mean, he got us an apartment 2 blocks away. We told the kids about the divorce. They were about 7 and 4 at the time. But Dad's apartment has a pool, so that was, I mean, make light of it. But it was, worked out okay. They were close. Wow. They didn't have to change schools, anything like that. And, other things happened, though. My parents didn't talk to me for about 3 years and kept bringing up, like, this is going to be a problem for the kids.
Because you came out as lesbian?
Because I came out as lesbian.
Okay.
And what are the people going to think? And what are the la-la-la-la? And I was like, what about me? What about my soul? What about my alignment with thyself? I mean, mind, soul, and I say gut. Like, what has my gut been telling me my whole life? It's just not fitting. And now it fits. It fits for what it is. And so I was, so glad to do that and work through it. I mean, there were moments when, I had friends that fell away, but I had friends that became forever friends that were like your really true friends.
Nice.
And it was a hard time, but it was also a joyously free time because you're really authentic with yourself and you're authentic in the moment of what's going on. And then people that are really there for you for really who you are.
Right.
And that made a huge difference. And it was, like I said, weight lifted, a joyously free
Wow.
fine.
And that authenticity, help me out with that word.
Authenticity.
Authenticity and integrity is so powerful because it comes from the inside out, not from the outside in.
Right.
And that, I'm so happy for you there. So keep on going with your story here.
Thank you. I mean, I think it brought me strength, obviously, to see who was with me. And it also I always explained to people about trying, before I came out, I felt like I was trying to walk a tightrope, or I was a rubber band that was stretching. I'm trying to live in this world, but my heart, mind, and soul and gut are in this world. And I just, finally, I wasn't being stretched in two directions, and I could actually focus all my energies in raising my kids and enjoying my life and taking on, my career and things like that. So that it was freeing in that way.
And that freeing is love. And love always wins. And when you're talking about love, then you're gonna move on to Karen or wherever we go from here, because Karen is just a delight. Your wife, I just love her to pieces as well. And the two of you exude so much joy. And I always, when I look at a friendship and a relationship or a marriage or a commitment, two people committed to each other, I look at them and say, are they being selfish with their love? Or are they loving each other so much that their abundant love can be shared with others within the community, within your work, within your circle of friends? And you and Karen are definitely that. Oh my gosh, totally.
Joanie, that's just so heartening to hear you say something like that about our relationship. And Karen's just been amazing. But, as I was starting to go through the coming out process, I tried to find resources. I tried to find places to go. And I thought, one thing I enjoyed in my youth was playing sports. Now, I wasn't wanting to go back to playing softball, but I thought I want to try something new. And actually, I kind of mentioned that to somebody at my kid's school. And she says, you know what? I play roller hockey. And she's a mom with 2 kids. And I said, okay. That was on a Wednesday. I think by Friday I was dressing out in roller hockey gear.
You were a fierce one out there, I bet. I see you on the pickleball court, let alone on oh my golly.
Well, fierce and fumbling at first. And what they did is they'd always put the new people to play forward. Well, Karen, my now wife, happened to be the goalie on the other team.
Oh my golly.
Gosh, it was funny. But we ended up, quote, running into each other as I tried to make a goal. But, earlier than me getting on the field, I remember seeing her out on the rink, and it was sort of one of those things where my heart just jumped. I said, wow. And I thought to myself, this is too early. I'm not through my divorce yet or whatever, but wow, what's this feeling? This is really nice. This is a joyous feeling. And, what brings me joy, and she brings me joy. She's been joy in my life for 20 years, and we have a lot of fun together.
Your story so relates to my story with my honey Carol, and how we met. And if you've read None Better, you know exactly how that all came out to be. And that became a best-selling book, number 24 on Amazon. And someday I think it's going to be a movie, but right now it is, to me, the greatest love story. But now I don't know, you and Karen might have a run for this one too.
I was going to say, I might have to arm wrestle you on that one, Joanie. But yes, it's when you find the love of your life. It's just amazing. So
you bet.
Absolutely.
You bet.
And I just want to put out there that, try to get involved with sports or different things where you think you might find community. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone or the box that somebody's put you in, to step out. Once you step out that zone, people are becoming to you and with you. And it's just a whole beautiful community out there.
Right on. Okay, so I love so far everything I'm hearing. So the topic of coming out. Talk to me about coming out. You mentioned your family. Talk about your kids. Coming out to your kids and where they are now. I think you said they're in their 20s?
Yeah, they're in their 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both.
So talk about the kids and the coming out part.
Well, I think when they say when you're going through divorce or changing with the kids, you have to be time appropriate to their age. So they were 7 and 4, daughter's older, son's younger, when I first came out. And it was just more, mom and dad, we still love each other. We love you guys. We don't get along. We don't want to live in the same place together. So that was, phase 1 and kind of working through that. As the kids got older, one thing that I made sure to keep, I kept my married name. Okay. And so the kids, and for example, thankfully in my situation, the dad was there. So we would go to the parent-teacher nights. We would go to things. So the kids didn't have to, quote, out themselves.
Got it.
At a younger age. So that was more comfortable for them. I know some kids where, the kids are out, where the parents are out, it's difficult for them to come out. But as the kids have grown up, I mean, They're comfortable, they're confident, they know that their parents love them. It was nice to actually have a new co-parent with my wife at the time. And they could see that there's loving people around them. And I kind of look at it as like, instead of the kids just having a mom and a dad, they had, well, actually my husband remarried, so they have 3 moms, a dad.
Oh, nice.
Grandparents all around, and a lot of loving group that we were able to build together as we move forward in
That's
our
incredible.
family.
That's incredible. I know we're winding down on time, and so I guess I just want to ask you one last question. Is there anything you would really want to tell the listeners in Del Norte and Curry counties about coming out? Anything like your final comments?
Oh, Joanie. Well, I think, I sort of wish I'd come out earlier, but I also feel that just go with your gut. Mm-hmm. Let yourself really feel who you are. And step outside of your comfort zone, step outside of that box that people may have put you in to become who you truly are. I mean, I'm saddened in a way that it took me till I was 40. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at your life in reverse, you go, nothing that's happened to me now could have happened if I hadn't come out till I was 40. Right. So it's sort of one of those things. But come out in your own time, be kind with yourself, trust that there's a community out there, and trust that there's a lot of love in this world.
Oh my gosh, that's a mic drop right there. And I am so proud of you for sharing this on our radio station and with me personally as well. I'm just so proud of you for that. And I hope when I travel to San Diego this spring that I get to meet your daughter down in San Diego. That would be a joy. But you exude joyously free attitudes and life. And so I just thank you immensely so much for being my very first guest on a radio show. And I think you nailed it. You nailed it, Karen. Oh, my gosh. And if people want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you via me. And so what I want to just remind everybody is that, you can get a hold of me on Facebook or TikTok and or through KCIW, and that's at 100.7 FM, or kciw.org, where you can go in and leave comments. And I would love to read your comments and hear your comments because, like I said, this is day one, but on behalf of myself and Karen.
Cindy.
Excuse me. I called you your wife's name. Isn't that great? Yep. Oh, boy. See, that's how much they are so much a couple. Karen and Cindy. And you're Cindy. So I wanted to just say thank you so much. I'll see you around, I know for sure. And everybody out there, we will see you around too. And just have a great day. And as my mantra always is live every day to the max, wear bright colors, and smile big. Thank you so much, Cindy. All right. I love you. Bye-bye.